Good morning and welcome to the video for Monday, June the 8th. This is going to be our video for our upcoming 7th graders. Last year we spent a lot of time working with unit rate. So I want to review that particular task, the things that we did with that, and then give you an idea of some things that you will be asked to work on this coming school year. So just to review, our unit rates are going to represent the amount of something that we have over a denominator of 1 unit. So let's say an average walking speed would be about 3 miles per hour. Our distance would be represented on the top. The amount of time that we would be traveling for would be on the bottom. And our unit rate would tell us that we would be traveling 3 miles per hour. If we wanted to give an example working with money, we could say that we earn a certain amount of dollars per hour. One of the things that is going to be different this coming year is we are going to be working with complex fractions. So complex fractions are going to be fractions where we have another fraction as the numerator, the denominator, or sometimes both. I've chosen an example that we could use that uses a complex fraction that has both the numerator and denominator as fractions. So in this example, I say that I can travel 1/2 a mile in 1/4 of an hour. And they would ask you to take this information and figure out what the correct unit rate would be if we were figuring out the number of miles in an hour. So to do that, we can say that we are dividing the fraction on top divided by the fraction on the bottom. So again, last year I was telling you that the way that fractions work as well as our unit rate or ratios, that we could take the top number divided by the bottom number. We can take the top fraction divided by the bottom fraction the same way. And so if I do that, I would have 1/2 divided by 1/4. I change it to a multiplication problem, multiplying by the reciprocal fraction. So 1/2 times 4 would give me 4/2, which would reduce down to a unit rate of 2 miles per hour. One of the other things that we're going to work with is proportional rates. And so with proportional rates, this was what we were used to using last year. We're going to have a few extra things where we're going to make you identify whether or not it's actually a proportional rate. So there are two things that need to happen. There needs to be a consistent rate of change, but there also needs to be a consistent ratio for each new piece of information that we're working with. So let's say that I would make $10 for my first hour. I make $20 if I work 2 hours, I make $30 if I work 3 hours, and I make $40 if I work 4 hours. You can quickly do division to figure out that this unit rate of $10 per hour would be consistent. So my rate of change for each section on this is going to be the same, and my ratio is also going to be the same. So we would say that this side would give us proportional rates. This other side is not. We are going to have a consistent change. For each additional hour that I work, I earn $10. That would be a constant rate of change, but the ratios are off. So as I wrote down here, 1 hour, we would get $20 for that first hour. If I work 2 hours for $30, I only get $15 per hour. If I work 3 hours for $40, I get $13.33. There'd be an extra penny in there that would have to get rounded up for one of those hours. And then the last one for 4 hours, if I get $50, I'm only earning $12.50. So we have a consistent rate of change, but we do not have a proportional rate because the ratio does not stay the same. And then the last thing I want to talk about real quick is kind of a review of what we worked with our formulas. So we worked with both of these formulas last year. We may have not spelled it out the way that we have here, and we maybe didn't spend as much time working with this term. So our constant of proportionality, that is going to be the measure of our unit rate. And so we can solve for that by taking, let's say, the amount of money that I earned over my independent variable, which would be the number of hours that I worked. So dependent variable is going to usually be the answer to how much of something we're going to get. So if I earn $20 an hour, I would take my unit rate of $20 times the number of hours I work as my independent variable, because that can be different. And then my dependent variable is going to be the one that relies on that. So if I worked 4 hours for $20 an hour, I would earn $80. And then if we need to solve for the unit rate, then we would use this formula here. So we would take the number of dollars, $80, divided by 4 hours would give us $20. So those are the things that you'll be asked to work with unit rates. There will be some additional things. They're going to work on more complicated things with graphing as well. I'm going to try to figure out how to represent that, but mostly it's just going to be using these same ideas. They'll give you a graph. You'll have to identify all of the points on the graph and then figure out if we're actually working with a proportional ratio. So I will take a look at a couple things, see if there's a way that I can represent a couple of those examples for you if people would like to see that. And I will include that on Thursday. But that concludes our video for today. Hope your summer is going well. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.